You're listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay on Newstalk 980.
And welcome back, everyone. Irv Tremblay is here, Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay Realty. Turn the key. And, I was on your website the other day, Irv, and I couldn't help but notice that, not only is there great advice for buyers and sellers, but one thing you have in particular for sellers, free home evaluation.
Right.
What exactly is that about?
Free home evaluation is many people, whether you're wanting to sell now or not, want to know the value of their property. They want to know the value of their property, whether it's going up, whether it's going down, and all they have to do is give me a call, email me, and we'll gladly do that for them.
IrvSells.ca. Check out that website. Call Irv Direct, 790-3753. Before the break, we were touching a little bit on conditional offers. Is there a good time to take a conditional offer?
Well, Bruce, most offers do have some conditions in them. And normal conditions that are pretty straightforward that most offers have, and if you're representing a buyer, some of them are certainly a must to protect your buyer, would be, mortgage financing. Even though you're pre-approved by the bank, you're buying a house for $500,000, the bank may own $400,000, so the bank kind of wants to know what the house is like before they approve the mortgage. So mortgage financing is a common condition. Property condition disclosure statement, which is good protection for the buyer and the seller, a statement from the seller, what they know about the property, has it flooded in the past, those types of things. Gas line locate to make sure the gas line's in the right place, furnace inspection. Those are pretty standard conditions. Mm-hmm. What happens in a market when the market goes a bit soft is that we start seeing maybe a little bit of desperation on the side of sellers,
right,
agents, and possibly agents not explaining some conditions correctly to sellers.
Because they don't understand them or because they're trying to hide something?
I think it is that they don't really understand them. And so we often see conditional to another house selling. And I guess I don't look at things very gray. I look at things black and white often. And sometimes my wife tells me that that's not the best thing. But in this case, I think it is the best thing.
Absolutely.
Conditional to another house selling is not an offer. And your listing agent, if you're a seller and you see this, you have this great offer that comes through, and often these offers look great. The price is great and everything, but it's conditional to the buyer selling their house. That is not an offer, and the agent should be clear unless that house sells. And so to give you an idea of what the market is like right now, we have in the $250,000 to $350,000 range, we have 6 homes under contract or 10 homes under contract. 6 of them are conditional to a house selling.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. We haven't seen, I could go back months and months and there wouldn't be any conditional to a house selling. So what that really shows you is that there's sellers out there, they have their house for sale, and all of a sudden there's an agent representing a buyer, and that agent representing the buyer has not explained to them the poor parts of writing an offer conditional to their house selling. Mm-hmm. And they go ahead and they write an offer conditional to the house selling. The selling agent doesn't explain fully to the seller what that really means, and that house will sit there, and often the sale never happens. And is there a good time to take an offer conditional to another house selling? Rarely. It would have to be a house that it's very, very unsaleable. And probably the best time to take an offer conditional to a house selling is when the listing agent is actually bringing you the offer. And here's the reason why. When you are a seller and you take an offer conditional to another house selling, your agent has no control over the sale of that house. And often they don't investigate that house close enough. And so that house could be overpriced, it could have low commission, it could have poor access. We could have 3 or 4 pit bulls running around in the yard. Who knows?
Yeah.
And traditionally, selling agents haven't done enough investigation and haven't been firm enough in guiding their seller to say, okay, yes, we'll take it, but the price has to be reduced. You have to put a lockbox on it. You have to increase the commission, and then we'll consider it. Or you have to get it appraised and listed at appraised value because we think it's overpriced, and then we'll take that. Selling agents are very weak at guiding their agent, and it is a little bit of desperation in the hopes that that buyer's agent is going to sell it. When I see these come across my desk, the thing that I look at most closely, and in the past when I've been training agents, they kind of look at me funny, because the first thing I look at a conditional offer to a house selling is who is the agent bringing it.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Is it an agent that's very experienced?
Mm-hmm.
Is it an agent that has the personality, the training, the ability to get that buyer to price their house so it sells and this sale happens?
Well, that makes sense because one is attached to the other.
So if it's an agent that only half their listings ever sell,
Yeah.
they don't know what they're doing. And when you're in the business long enough, you get to know what agents know what they're doing and what agents don't. I look at that very closely, and I tell my seller, listen, they don't have much chance of getting this house sold at that price. And sellers often want to take these offers, and sometimes when you give them the advice not to take it, they're a little disappointed because they have that bit of desperation setting in. But my job as an agent and a third party is not to get emotional, look at the entire transaction and give them good advice.
Right.
And so conditional to a house selling, it's not a good thing to do. And I'm just so surprised that we have 6 of those on the market. So if you look at the market right now, we have sellers taking offers conditional to a house selling in a market where very few houses are selling. So what are the chances?
Slim to none?
Slim to none, often. And the worst part of this is that your house is off the market. And let me explain. When agents write an offer conditional to a house selling, they'll sell you a bill of goods. And their job is to sell the seller that this is a good offer.
Yeah.
They'll write what's called a 48 or a 24 or a 72-hour option clause. And that option clause means if they take this conditional offer, they could take another offer, bump the first one, or give the first people notice that they're going to take another offer, and the first people have 48 or 72 hours to remove the conditions, or you're going to take the second offer. That sounds really good to a seller. The problem is, most good agents, when they see a listing, when there are 1,600 listings on the market, that has a conditional offer, they do not want to take their buyer to that house. Because if the buyer falls in love with that house, they bump the offer, and the first people remove the condition and their buyer can't buy the house, psychologically that's very bad for the buyer. So what happens when you take a conditional offer, most of the time your house really isn't on the market because you get very few showings. A good experienced agent isn't going to show the property. So often selling agents don't explain that. And they say, well, your house is still on the market. In reality, it isn't. And if you look at the percentage of homes that have conditional offers that sell in most markets throughout North America, it is very small.
Irv Tremblay, thanks for the amazing advice. Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay, Realty, Century 21. Turn the key. Check out all the details, irvsales.ca. One word, irvsales.ca. Or call Irv direct, 790-3753. You've been listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay Realty.